Time to cast the last piece for the Gingery Lathe, and it's gonna get a little weird. I think this is the last part that I have to cast. After I cast this, I'm going to go to like the assembly and the putting it together. It's going to get a little weird for one reason. See this hole here? What you're supposed to do is take a 5/16 steel rod, stick it through there, ram it up, and then take another piece of steel rod, put it in there as like a core. So the core isn't the sand core, it's the steel rod. The idea there is you remove the steel rod from your part and you have a 5/16 hole that's nice and round and all of that. And I don't have a 5/16 steel, not 5/16, 5/8. Ignore everything I just said. I was stupid. I was drunk that day. I don't have a 5/8 steel rod, so I was going to use a 5/8 copper pipe. And that is what broke my previous pattern that I printed, and I had to print this one. I'm not bitter. And I could do that. I could do that, and it would probably work, and the copper pipe would be fine. It would be fine. There's no problem. But I saw some furniture the other day when I was Googling around. Here's some pictures. You might see something kind of interesting. So those appear to be furniture made from logs. Logs were inserted into some kind of mold with legs, and molten aluminum was poured in. So the molten aluminum formed around the logs, the wood, and it forms some really cool looking furniture. You even get the burn lines around where they touch. And it's just cool. It's really cool. And I kind of want to try that. I already rammed up the flat bottom piece. This is one where everything's on one side of the line, so it'll be on the top. And you've seen me do this lately. Here's a little section of that 5/8 wood dowel. Wood, this is hardwood, and it's kiln dried. Most wood you buy at the store is kiln dried. So like the thicker boards, the outer part of the board will be very, very, very dry. The inner part might not be so dry. This is thin enough that if it was kiln dried, this would be totally dried. And then it sat here in my garage for a very long time, sat at Menards for a very long time before that. So this piece here is fully air dried. General rule of thumb, you hear 1 inch of thickness per year to dry out. Well, this took less than a year, and it was stuck in a kiln for a while, so it's very dry. It fits here kind of tight. One problem that people have with these when they have the steel rod, they put it over, the aluminum cools, clamps down on the steel rod, and it's a bugger trying to get that thing out of there. Wood, not so much of a problem. I was hoping the copper wouldn't have been so much of a problem, although with steel my plan was going to be pull it out, chuck the whole metal and steel in the freezer, pull it out, and then blow torch the aluminum. So when you heat up aluminum, the heat disperses through the aluminum really quick. It expands a lot when it heats up compared to steel. Hopefully the aluminum would heat up a lot, expand a lot. Steel would still be ice cold for me in the freezer, and I could just pull it right out. Don't know if that would work. Not even going to try, because we're going to try wood. Don't know if this will work. It's probably really, really stupid, but I'm not going to know until I try. If you're wondering what this is wood filler. For whatever reason, when I printed this one, I ended up with this nasty like hole here. I think that's where it started and stopped that layer every time. So I just hit that with some wood filler and sanded it. I'm going to see if the wood filler will release the Petrobond. Some things Petrobond will not stick to. Other things Petrobond will stick to with a death grip unlike anything on earth. Jam that down in there. So much baby powder. I always say I should use less of this stuff, and then I always use too much of it. And I always do that and regret it. You know, if the sand doesn't release from these, you need these holes because you need to clamp through there. If the sand doesn't release from these and I can't print some nice clear holes, at least I'll have enough of an indication of where they go that I can drill them out later. So I'm not worried about that. Get my copper rod runner former. Kind of wish this was a little bit shorter. Oh well. A makeshift spin trap that I must admit is working very well. So as I'm sure you've noticed, I took a minor break from this project. Got kind of wrapped up in a few different challenge type things, which was very exciting, very fun. I really should have moved this over that way a little bit, shouldn't I? Oh well, too late now. Now we're back on it with this Gingery Lathe project. Every time I watch a machining video, I'm reminded of how much I really want to have a lathe. Those weren't the only aberrations in the schedule. There's a few other things that are going to take me away from the lathe project in the near future. Other than just other little projects that I do. But it's all in good fun. It's all fun. Ramming. You know, I really like this small sand rammer that I made. Works excellent, especially for getting in tight spots. Very good. Long-term update there. Here, I don't always show this part very well, but maybe you can see it here. I position everything so that the tapered sprue, the end gate here, is very close to the edge. Remember, this is going to be tipped up, so this side is going to be lifted up. So this is going to be near the bottom and near the sides. I'm going to hold the crucible over here and pour. I force this can over here to give me the extra height, but also to give me an area to form the pouring basin. And this is not dead center. It's to the side. It's actually uphill relative to how this whole thing is going to be tipped. So this is off to that side. I shove this down and I pack it all full of sand. I also pack some sand around, so when I'm picking the thing up and moving it around, the whole top heavy bit of tin can here doesn't just tip it all over. Wouldn't want to do that again. Hey, and you know what really hurts? Messing with sand and rough stuff with a chunk missing out of your thumb. There's a workplace injury that doesn't feel good with sand dug into it. So I'm not sure how well it shows up, but the sides are packed up and there's actually a depression, a hollow right here. Maybe I'll emphasize it a little harder by shoving it in. Yeah, like that. Of course, that's really exaggerated. The point is I want the metal to go down in here, have to kind of fill up here, so like any bubbles will hopefully pour in and float up, and then the thing will overflow and go down this hole. But this will be a decent amount of head pressure. Now I gotta add a lot more sand because I really crammed it down in there. Whoops-a-daisy. Form the ridge here, just a little one. One of these days I'm gonna print a proper surge trap thing so I don't have this big open hole on top that ruins my flasks. You know, why on earth did I flatten this thing when I was just going to make big sand castles on top of it anyway? I mean, sure, flat foundation gives you a more level sand castle, but still, I don't think it matters. It's just making work for myself. Oh no. If you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and not explain all the little things that I'm doing, since I've explained it in every single one of my previous videos. Not every single one, but like the last few. So if you're interested, just watch some of those. I'm going to use this as my extractor pin after I slap it up a bit. Show it who's boss. Okay, well, the extractor pin came out. That plan didn't work. Alright, camera timed out while I was doing that, but that actually went quite poorly. But I'm going to cast it anyway because it's all... The way that it goes poorly is sand. You get sand blowout here or there or here. And a lot of that's because there's not really enough draft on this piece. That's my bad. But really, sand falling out means there's going to be more metal in that area. And I can clean up too much metal. Like, that's not a huge problem. This will be kind of gross, but with enough angle grinder and you can achieve balance, maybe. Because I don't really think I could do that much better the next time. So we're just going to live with this and see what happens. I mean, this is an experiment anyway, right? I mean, it's chucking a piece of wood in there. I mean, how good can it go anyway? And we don't want to forget about some vents. Alright, this is going to be tricky. Align the alignment pins and the core dowel. Oh, fits like a glove. That went way better than I thought it was gonna. Okay, and now fire up the grill tomorrow because it's 1 a.m. and it's raining outside. And I can feel I'm going to crash from all of the coffee that I stopped drinking a few hours ago. So, Aha! I poured myself another ingot. I had a sneaking suspicion that would work. And now we play the waiting game. The smoke coming up the highest point vent makes me happy, though. That's probably a good sign. Do 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 do! Moment of truth! Here we go! That's promising looking. Filled the whole thing. Here, let's see what we got. Since I don't know where my unmolding trowel went, I'm going to use a knife, because nothing could possibly go wrong that way. What I'm trying to do here is to separate out the non-burned stuff from the burned stuff. So I'm just going to cut chunks of the non-burned stuff out, and below me here is a bin full of the sand. I should probably do it from the top. Well, that made it easy. By easy, I of course mean really messy, but at least I don't have to think about how I'm going to proceed. Alright. That piece of wood sure got charred. But at least I don't have to worry about getting it out of there. Ooh-wee, this sure is toasty. I really should let it sit a little bit longer before doing this. I'm liking what I'm seeing, though. Alright, and here's what it looks like straight from the sand. I brushed off some of the black stuff into a separate bin over there. But you can see here, this is where the sand didn't release. Stupid phone. You see the sand wouldn't release from the holes, so that I expected that. But now I know where to drill so I can get those holes. This is where the sand blew out. This is where the sand blew out. Here are my vents. They actually cast little tiny aluminum wires, which are very brittle. And you can just break off with your fingers. The surface finish came out super good. I'm really liking that gating technique. And you can see the print lines on the print. It's so cool. No porosity. See these lines? Those are where I actually slid the top flask on top of the lower flask. And this dot here is when I pulled the copper pipe out of the sand and it dropped. And I said, oh no. Oh no. That's the ding it made. I'm going to have to clean that up, obviously, but those are little tiny patterns in the material that you can get with this wonderful sand. And I don't have any porosity that I can see. And then there's the hole, which you can't, well, you can kind of see through. Let's see if I can clean that up better. I mean, that was the whole experiment here, right? Let's see. There. Cast aluminum is very brittle. Makes it easy to do stuff like that, see? Or I could just say, it's invincible, but I'm really strong. You're not going to believe me. Don't know why I bothered. Perhaps the wood is just all charred. Oh, there's black gunk coming out of there. Oh, I am pushing it through the bottom. Cool. Well, I really can't see, but it looks like a clean hole. You know, that might work. Bit of the aluminum ran down there, but that's easily cleaned off. Cool. Really didn't expect that to work so well. So there, if you're wondering if that works, now you know. Kind of. It kind of works. I'm not going to clean this up too much because I know by the time you get to this part in the book, you kind of have the apparatus that can spin. So you can actually clean this up with the lathe, which is kind of cool. So I'm just going to move on. Be able to face that off better with the lathe working than I'll ever get with an angle grinder. Same for the outside. Same probably even for this inner bit. I will break this vent up, though. There, that broke it off. See? Strong. Next lathe video shall be whatever is in the book as far as making stuff. So, yeah. Although I might check and see if and make sure I have all the parts, and if I don't, I'm going to cast the rest of the parts. But I think I have all of them. Before I go, here's that dowel again, but an unburnt version. I wonder if it'll fit in the hole, or if I have some boring to do. Yep. Okay, that didn't work. I do have some boring to do. Joe!